You can work really hard and be very good at your profession, but you also have another life, and you have to give a lot of time and love and effort to your family, and you also have to give back to the community. And so I've lived that way, and I've just done it. I grew up in Cincinnati. My grandfather built a large house in North Avondale, and in 1939, he and my grandmother moved to the Vernon Manor and gave the house to my father. My mother was the kind of person who said, nothing ventured, nothing gained, and she really, really kept after me when I was going to try for something, run for an office, or call a girl on the phone, anything. And she also, when there was a problem, she had a very famous saying. She'd say, "This too will pass. Don't worry about it." And that's really been something in my mind all my life. My father was a very good person. He got along with people very well. He just was very interested only in sports, in playing bridge, and in the family business. My mother's main interests were in the arts. And so I got interests from both of them that way. I went to Walnut Hills High School. I was shy, and I was very bashful around the girls. It took me a long time to get over that. I wasn't a brainiac, nor was I somebody who studied very, very hard. I wasn't. I played musical instruments. I was very active in the Boy Scouts, and it was a lot of fun. When I got to Harvard in my freshman year, the Korean War started. And as a matter of fact, we were told we had to take an exam. And if we didn't pass the exam, we could be drafted. Well, I passed it, so I joined the Army ROTC. I was being trained to be a forward observer in the field artillery, and that was a pretty dangerous thing. I went to the military intelligence summer school in Fort Riley, Kansas, where it was 115 in the shade, and was trained to be an intelligence officer in the field. After I graduated from college, I was trained how to be a special agent in the Counterintelligence Corps. So my Army career was interesting. I did some interesting things, but I was very fortunate, very fortunate. My grandfather, who was a spectacular human being, was the oldest of 10 siblings, 6 of whom lived to adulthood. And the father died after the last sibling was born. And my grandfather, in his early teens, had to quit school, and he went around pushing a little cart and selling spices and teas and other sundries to make a living. And he did so well with that, he supported the entire family. And then he started something called the Frank Tea and Spice Company. And he was such a really brilliant businessman that he built the company up to the point where when we sold it, we had 350 employees and some pretty well-known products such as Frank's Hot Sauce, Mr. Mustard, and all kinds of other things. Food has always been something important to me since my family was in the food business and I was in it for the first part of my working career.
Could you make the salad dressing?
Sure. I make salad dressings, I make marinades, I love to make cold soup, and I love, of course, Frank's Hot Sauce, which is the product that remains from my family business. I put it in everything. Looking back on the real estate career, I really feel that I honed a lot of really good skills. I've always tried to read and learn and go to seminars, because you can't sit still in any business.
His passion for the industry, his leadership, his volunteerism. I mean, I believe John Frank has elevated the profile of the commercial real estate industry. He's really been a role model for the industry. The John J. Frank Boardroom, we compete in an arena that's very transactional, and that's never been John Frank. He's always been a counselor, he's consultative, it's all about finding solutions for his clients, it's about collaborating with his colleagues. I mean, that's John. I mean, he's personified really the industry that we all really embrace today.
One of the things to me is the most important characteristic of any person is integrity. And that's the way I conducted myself in my business career, on a board or a committee, and I think that is probably very important.
You know, John has the advantage of growing up as a Jewish guy, and so he's had the direct experience of understanding how Jewish people are themselves subject to discrimination, and it has made him enormously sympathetic to others who experience that. That's probably most manifest in the effort to get broad adoption of the Greater Cincinnati Commitment. He invested a lot of his personal capital to knock on doors, and I think that's a testament to his effort to create a community that is free of prejudice and free of discrimination.
So we want to invite you
to join us
in making Greater Cincinnati the best
place in America.
The thing that is probably his secret sauce, if you will, is that he's an optimist. He believes things can get better, and he's willing to put in the time to make things get better.
I don't think a person can live happily if they're not giving back to the community, since they've been fortunate enough to have such good lives. That's what motivates me. Good morning, Ms. White. How are you today? I had a partner named Bob Mock when we started our company in 1984. And he had a daughter who taught in a Cincinnati public school where there was a lot of poverty. And he was so dismayed by the fact that he saw these children coming out of poverty. So he created a program called Winners Walk Tall. Good morning, everybody. Good morning! How is everybody? Those are very pretty bows you have there. I started being a character coach. These are the poorest kids in the city. Some kids come in there and put their heads down on the desk. They're so tired. You know, it's just a very worthwhile program. Well, as an 86-year-old senior citizen, you might think I'm sort of out of it. But I think because I work in the inner city schools and work with children, it's very invigorating, and I think it helps keep me young. I also have 10 grandchildren, varying ages, all the way from 19 down to a few months old. We try to keep in touch with all of them. We play games with them. We talk to them. We are passionate about our grandchildren and our children and each other, and that's important. I love the beauty of Cincinnati. I love the history, but I love the arts. I guess the thing I love best is I have so many family that I love and so many friends that I love, and that's what makes Cincinnati special for me. The fact that I'm being recognized as a Great Living Cincinnatian is something that's very humbling. But to see this happening is just awesome to me.